औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम वसल्लल्लाहु अला नबील करीम। ऐ मेरे रब, मेरे सीने को मेरे लिए खोल दे, मेरे काम को मेरे लिए आसान कर दे, मेरी ज़बान की ग्राह खोल दे ताकि लोग मेरी बात समझें। Today's discussion theme is Islam in the changing situation of the world. Islam in the changing situation of the world. You know that Islam and Muslims are facing a new situation, and this situation is very disturbing for the Muslims and for the Islam. No one knows what to do in this changing situation. The first response, what we get from the Muslim leaders, is simply a negative response. They want to fight, they want to do agitation, they try to recapture their earlier glories, and everywhere there is a provocation for the fight. And they begin fighting, they agitate, they initiate fight and hate towards supposedly the enemies of Islam. This reaction has led to a great disaster, and this has failed to produce any result. As we know all, that Prophet of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam got his wahi in Makkah in 610 AD, and subsequently Islam was introduced in Hijaz, that is the Arabian country, and after his death Islam spread all over. There was a great expansion of Islam. One of our Indian historian, Mr. Roy, has written one book. The name of the book is The Historical Role of Islam, in which he acknowledges the expansion of the Islam by saying it is the miracle of the miracles. It is the miracle of the miracles, the speed and the expansion what Islam was having. By this expansion and the spreading of the Islam, Muslims were able to create a great empire and was able to rule for almost all 1000 years. In fact, this expansion and the political power in the hands of Muslims for a period of 1,000 years has made them the master of the situation. They were the masters of the situation of the earlier period. Then in 18th century, from Europe, Renaissance came, and gradually the Muslims start losing their power. Their empires have been captured by the Europeans and by the others. Muslims have lost the political power. It means earlier the Muslims were the masters of the situation. Now they have become the subject of the situation. Basically, this is the change which Muslim community as such and the Muslim leader in particular are failed to address and to give a solution to it. The reason is Muslim leadership has not taken the advice from the book of God, that is the Quran. If they would have taken the advice, the situation would be very different. In Quran, 3 number chapter, that is the Surah 3 and ayat number 140. In which it is very clearly said that political power will be sometime with someone and sometime with someone else. It means political power is not the monopoly of any community or any race. It is a drifting situation. It always happened, and it has always happened in the history of mankind. Sometimes some group or some people will be ruling, and sometimes they become the subject of the rule. So this is a drifting position each and every time it happens. If Muslims were able to take the guidance from the book, they would see it very clearly in this verse that they would see it very clearly from this verse from the Surah Al Imran, ayat number 140, in which it is said that the change of the power is a test for the people. Change of the power is a test for the people. If the Muslims have given this importance, they would accept this as a change. They would have noticed that God says in this change situations what they have to do. In Surah Rad, I don't remember the verse number, but in Surah Rad it is said they have to adopt the policy of sabr and taqwa. They have to adopt the policy of sabr and taqwa. Even without having the political power, the Muslim can do many, many things. They can advance themselves in education. First of all, before starting this, I would like to say they have to realize what is the reason of their failure. They have to do the contemplation. They have to find out their own mistakes, and they have to learn out of their mistakes. And they have to be practical, and they have to admit that they are no more in power. And they have to reform themselves from the beginning by educating their children, by upgrading themselves, by bearing, by sabr. I would like to state one example. When on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Americans have bombarded Hiroshima and Nagasaki with a nuclear bomb. That was a great disaster in Japanese history or in the world history. At that time, the President of Japan has given one speech on radio in which he said, we have to admit our defeat. We have to admit our defeat. We have to bear the unbearable. We have to suffer the unsufferable. We have to bear the unbearable. We have to suffer the unsufferable. We have to prepare ourselves once again so that we can compete in this world. So there is a clear guidelines available in Quran that the political power is not a monopoly of any community. If the Muslims have lost the power or anyone else would be losing the power, is because of their own shortcomings they will be losing it. They are all responsible for it. They have to reform. They have to adopt a policy that is the policy of sabr and taqwa. It means they have to save themselves from all the negativity and prepare for all the positivity and reformation. I remember one saying of a prophet in Bible. I don't remember his name now. I think his name is Daniel, or I don't remember still. When Bani Israel, that is the sons of Israel, have been defeated by a king and their power was no more there, they have lost all their empire rather. At that time, that prophet advised to Bani Israel by saying that, humble yourself and sit on the ground. Humble yourself and sit on the ground. Your crown has been snatched from your head. I think this is the policy what all the Muslims throughout the world they have to adopt, is humbling themselves and sit at the ground. Accept the reality. Reform yourself. Reform your children. Instead of doing all this agitation. Any reformation is only possible when you have the sincerity in you. And sincerity means a sincere person is a modest person. A sincere person is free from the hate. A sincere person is a realistic person. He doesn't see the thing as he wishes to see it. He sees a thing what it is. And from there, he begins it. So this is the message I want to give you today. Begin with the possible. Whatever is possible to reform yourself. You know your situation very well. If the Muslims are not the master of the situation today, they are the subject of the situation today, no problem. Still you got a chance. Always a second chance is available for everyone. The world, the God has designed this world in this fashion. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.